AJ.
And Shannon, and this is
Dope Food Today.
And that's right, guys. We're back. We know we've been on a long hiatus, but we have some explaining to do. I know you guys are ready for it. Honestly and truthfully, we have just had some sickness running through our whole team, and we just had some people out, and then I got sick, and then AJ got sick, and so it's just been a whole bunch of sickness around here. But today we are giving you the long-awaited double upload day, and we are going to have 2 videos filmed and edited for you to get us back on track. And then next week we're gonna have guests starting back with us, and so we're gonna get back on track, and we're gonna get everything in order. And we thank you so much for being patient with us.
We should.
And go ahead.
We should do, guys. Thank you very much for your patience, and we want to bring you the best episode.
Let me back up a little bit because I think there you go. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, I had to back up so they
Oh,
my face.
cool. Let's go. We want to provide you the best episode we can today. So enjoy the information of how to set goals and overcome roadblocks.
That's right. Like I said, we're gonna do a double upload today, so you can expect this video and another one coming up pretty shortly afterwards. But again, we just want to thank you guys for being patient with us. Thank everybody, because we kind of just took the time that we needed to get everybody better and get in order. And thank you for our sponsors for being patient with us too. Basically, everybody on our whole team has been kind of under the weather or something was going on. So we took a little bit of hiatus, but we're back and we want to be better than ever. And so, like I said, we're going to do a double upload today, starting with, sorry guys, starting with overcoming roadblocks and just how to do that. And especially we as a team have been hit by that a lot the past couple weeks. Obviously, you heard about it when I said that we had to take a break. So what we're going to do today is a little different style, and I just kind of want to really talk about it off the cuff and kind of just say say how it is really for us, and let you know, like, it's not always easy to do what we do as a job, and then also it's not always easy just to live with a disability, and there's always things coming up, but you have to persevere and move forward. And that's what the underlying topic is today, is how do you, when you're faced with those kind of roadblocks or challenges, how do you get up the next day or get up and start moving forward as a response to those things? So that's what we're doing today. So let's just jump right into it, and we'll thank our sponsors afterwards, and we can move forward.
So sounds like a plan.
So AJ, how is your life? And I know we talked about, or I mentioned that how we have been, the Don't Burn the Day team has been faced with some roadblocks and some challenges lately. But how has that kind of hit home for you, and how does that kind of spell out for you right now in the moment?
Oh, well, it's truly, if you're working with a team like we are here at Don't Burn the Day, it's all about communication.
Yeah, communication is huge, you know. Um, and we are a small team, so AJ's right. Like, it feels like a domino effect when one person goes down, we kind of all go down, because we do consider ourselves a family, and we do consider ourselves a team. So we kind of pull each other back together, and bring us back to our real motivation. And I think that's really important to do when you're in a time like we were just kind of going through, because there's many different roadblocks, because each of us have different things that we have going on in our life. Some of us have kids, some of us have, obviously AJ and I have disability, and I have children, and some of our people on our staff have kids. So that plays a part in when they could come back after they were sick, and things like that. So it's been really, it's been an interesting and difficult ride the first part of this year, but we are working on exactly what we're talking about today, and that is overcoming the roadblocks and challenges that we are given as disabled individuals, and not even stepping out of the realm of our team, but I'm talking about stepping into the realm of life, just living life, and what roadblocks are you faced with every day as a person with a disability?
I, I'm faced with uh my my body not always acting the way it
Yeah,
should.
yeah. Do you find, I mean, and I can relate to this so much, because do you find yourself like in your head, you want to do something specific, but your body, um, may it be that day, or maybe it's just the way you're feeling, or some outsourcing things that are going on that don't allow you to do the things that you want to do. And I can definitely relate, because that happens to me a lot. A lot of times I want to do something, or I know I can do it, or I think I can do it, and um, my head's telling me to try, but then my body's like, nope, not gonna happen today.
And with me, stress as adds to
Yeah,
kind of
absolutely. That's a big kicker, is any kind of stress that's around you, um, is absolutely a, I don't know what the word is, I kind of blanked, but absolutely, it plays a part in all of it. I think your mind, body, I'm a big component of your mind and body are connected, and anything that affects any of that is a huge
yeah,
roadblock to not being able to do the things you want to do.
yeah. If your mind and if your mind ain't right, your body ain't gonna be right.
That's right. You have to have a clear mind and a focused mind, and especially if we are trying to get through daily life as people with individuals with disabilities, because it's so important, and it's a must that we focus on everything that we're doing, so that when we do these things, like try to move our bodies around, or try to do this or that, or even I find myself, even when I'm not as focused, my work suffers. So um every part of my life is a domino effect to how my body feels. And not everybody has to go through that, because not everybody has a disability like you and I do. And we're not saying, again, we're going to put a disclaimer here. We're not saying everybody that has a disability goes through these things. We're just giving you our perspectives, our individual perspectives. But for me, once I know that I can usually feel it in the morning. Like I usually know how my body's going to react to the day.
Yeah.
Like
Once you get up and get moving, you
yeah,
know how the rest of your day is gonna go.
right. Like I know how my body's feeling. I'm like, okay, if I'm feeling good physically, then I know, okay, today's going to be a pretty good day. If I'm feeling good mentally, I know I'm going to like kick ass, and the day is going to be like an amazing day, and my goals are going to get crushed, and I'm going to do it. As a mother, as a wife, as your co-host, as everything. Like if all things are firing on all cylinders, then it's great. But if one thing doesn't fire or gets out of whack, it seems kind of like a domino effect for me. I don't know if that's for you, but
Yes. If one if one thing gets out of sync, the it's harder for me to uh get back on track or stay with
absolutely.
my
Um,
purpose for that day.
because why? Your mental focus is taken away by the way your body's reacting. If your body hurts or your muscles hurt or a bone or a part of your body, um, like your legs are extra tight or your hips or something, it really can take you off your track. He's right, absolutely. Um,
But one thing I try to do for that is if you have a tilt system in your chair or are able to lay lay flat for a while, just lay flat and
that was
clear.
yeah, that was something. That was the next thing I was going to jump into is, you know, some of the ways that you and I both cope with how that happens for us. Like, what does that look like? What is a coping mechanism for you? And I know we talked a lot last week over the phone about how you were feeling and what was going on. Um, and you mentioned that, but are there other things that you do outside of that to kind of make yourself feel better and bring you back to square one?
I like most people. I meditate. That seems to be the main uh thing I do.
We've had a kind of an ongoing and unintentionally, but we've had kind of an ongoing theme of self-care over the course of the last couple weeks. When we were filming the last episode, we did talk about self-care and what that looks like as a person with a disability or for a person with a disability. And I still feel like this episode kind of can puzzle up to the self-care episode because a lot of it can go hand in hand. And I think meditation is another big, and I know we talked about meditation in the self-care episode previous, but I think meditation can be a great um, a great way to kind of also bring you back to do what it's supposed to do and bring you back to center. um, I know we've talked about massages and how, you know, they help your body physically. Um, but I want to touch on something that, you know, and that has really just until the past year, because of everything that everybody has experienced, you know, pre post pandemic, all of that, is mental health. Um, and you know, this really wasn't where this show was supposed to go, but I just have it. It's really strong on my heart um, to kind of talk about mental health and how that affects a person with a disability. And we're not grouping. We're not putting everybody in a box. I'm just letting you know my perspective, and AJ is letting you know his perspective. Um, your mental health as a person with a disability is a key factor to your success as a person. And I think, you know, because a lot of times we have to overcome so many physical challenges that we often get in our head because of how much the physical challenge affects us. And we start to think, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good enough. This isn't up to par to where I want to be. But your mental health is so much a priority and a purpose for all of that.
if
Go ahead.
if you have a good mental health um, system, it is able to prepare you to the rest of your goals. But if you get in your head, like,
I'm not talking about, I mean, I'm not talking about um, every day, but I want to bring out the point that mental health is so prevalent in the disability community, right? Um,
yes,
you know, and everybody can talk about this is what you need to do for good mental health, or everybody can be advocates for mental health. But when we get down to brass tacks, are we really doing it? Like, are we really, really being mindful of how much our mind plays tricks on us, especially with disability? Because if you plan to have a good day, okay, so if you plan to have a good day in the morning, if you get up and you plan to have a good day, and one thing goes wrong in your life as a person with a disability, and we talk about that domino effect, what are you going to use to get back on track? You can't, a lot of times you can't use your physicality. You have to be able to have clarity of mind and be able to go, okay, this
you
happened, but we're going to move forward in this way. I'm going to let my mind just let that go. I'm going to move on. We're not going to think about stereotypes. We're not going to think about what this person's doing or what that person's doing. I'm going to focus on what I need to do. And it's so hard. I don't know if it's hard for you, but it's hard for me when I think about, and I'm being completely transparent here for me. I have so many different things going on in my life. Like, I have my kids and my partner and my job and other things, and I'm always wondering if I'm measuring up. So if something happens physically to me and I'm like, oh damn, well today I fell. So, like, go ahead. Go ahead.
uh, it's like you were uh, you juggling all these plates in the air, and if one falls, like if you fall, you're afraid of letting people in your life down.
Yeah, so that's exactly the point. So, as much as I'm talking about overcoming the physical challenges that we face, I'm more so talking about, yeah, physical challenges are going to happen. We're going to fall. We're going to, I don't know, we're going to have body parts that hurt. That is inevitable. And that's going to take us off our game a lot of the time. However, what happens when your mental health, because we have so many things to think about as a disabled person, like, from the time I get up to the time I go to bed, I'm mapping out my day. Well, this is how I need to get up in my chair to go to the bathroom. This is how I need to get up in my chair to go in the shower. This is what I need to to get dressed, or I need to plan out my outfits so that it's easier for me to get dressed, or I've got to give myself an extra hour here because I know it takes a little longer to do one specific thing. So there are so many things going on in your mind as a disabled person. What happens, and here's the question I'm going to pose to everybody and you, AJ. um, what happens when it's not so much a physical challenge and it becomes a mental challenge, because you have all of these things going on in your head and all these things that you have to think about as a disabled person before you even set foot in society? How do you, like, where's the line? What are your coping mechanisms for those type of days when you're like overwhelmed, or like maybe it's like, oh shit, like I just maybe I just want to give in and just, but
um,
we know as disabled individuals and advocates that we can't give in
yeah,
and give up, you know?
um, well, there's certain days I know from myself, I just want, want it, want to be me, and,
Yeah.
and
I mean, yeah, like what happened the other day, like I called you and I was like, look, I'm just not feeling well. And you said the same thing. And, honestly, my coping mechanism that day was to shut everything down. Like, I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't answer my phone. I didn't, you know, um, obviously I tend to my kids and my family as I needed to, but anything else was put on the back burner for the day
yeah,
because I had to kind of refocus myself because some,
and
go
we
ahead.
have we have to be okay with being okay with those days.
Yeah, and that's that, and I want you to say that again because that, even as the host of the show, and as you say that, and I hear you say it, it's so hard. You can say it, but it's so hard to do if you're an like
And,
type A personality like myself.
and when I say this to you, I'm saying it to myself as well. We have to be okay with being okay with those days where we have to shut everything down.
Yeah,
And,
and I think, but that's a, that's a really hard thing. But he's right. On those days when you just feel overwhelmed, and whether it's a mental challenge or whether it's a physical challenge, on those days you just have to be okay with being okay that you're not going to get everything done, and it's okay. Like, what did I tell you the other day? I said okay is better than perfect. Um, because and I don't know what's evoking all these emotions and all these things that are coming into my mind, but I really feel like, this is a place where we can be. We always preach that this is a place where we're safe to talk about, the things that are mattering to us, and honestly, like, it's it's really been hard for me lately to to be to be okay with being okay, to kind of put down those things that I know I need to put down for a minute to kind of put myself back in a good place, because so many things hit me all at once, as far as like family getting sick, and you know me kind of being overloaded, because I'm the type of person that will feel like I can take on the world and then get so burnt out and need that time to recenter myself, but then I'll feel bad about it when I take it. And so when you say the phrase like you gotta be okay to be okay, like I have to.
because
And
if if you're not okay, you can't give your best when
you
you're
talked about, we've often mentioned you can't pour from an empty cup, and recently, excuse me, and recently I've honestly felt um, like I have been trying to pour from an empty cup. Um, for a while there was a time where my partner was sick, and then I got sick, and we just kind of went down, and kind of all the responsibility kind of went to the wayside. Um, obviously we were still there for our kids, but kind of the everyday life was shut down, and I literally get mad um, at myself, not anybody else, but at myself, because I kind of want to be Superwoman all the time. Um, but I've just recently realized that to achieve the goals in the way that I want to achieve them, um, I can't be Superwoman, and okay is better than perfect.
Yeah.
As long as it's done, like I want to be the best wife and or the best partner and the best mom and the best, you know, version of myself that I can be. I want to be the best housekeeper to maintain my house, but I'm just realizing that a lot of it doesn't have to be done amazingly.
No.
And I think a lot of those traits come from the way I was raised and how, those were inherently engraved in me to be a certain way and to have things a certain way. But the, the reality and the real fact is I have a disability.
But you have to be okay with retraining your
Yeah, and that's another thing I want to talk about. Go ahead and say that because that's a great point.
and breaking what you were taught and re, re structuring your own self
Yeah,
for what you want.
it's that retraining point that you made that kind of hit home. You have like when you're, and I know that I'm not the only person that feels like this out there, um, that has a disability and that have the responsibilities like I do. But when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you're feeling overwhelmed, or when you're feeling those kind of pressures from the outside world to measure up or to be quote unquote perfect, but who knows what perfect is because there is an ideal aspect of perfect or normal is what I'm getting to. But when you feel like you need to measure up to societal pressures, it can be really hard. And you guys, I see a therapist every week, and I deal with my mental health, but this is just a topic that like I said, it wasn't going to be this. This was just things that were evoked into my brain and my thoughts, and I kind of wanted to get them out there for um, discussion. But again, going back to the point, when you kind of feel like you need to adjust to societal pressures, it can be hard because the reality of it is, as quote unquote normal as I want to be, or normal as I want to be perceived, the fact is I have a disability. So I have some limitations. So, what am I going to do to be the best I can be, but still acknowledge my limitations and be okay with those?
That's something I've struggled with for about uh 36 years now. Um, or about starting when I was 5 because I had to. Uh, that's when I first noticed or first conceived that everything the, around me was different. Like
Yeah.
my ability to walk was a little different than other people. So I had to adjust to that and be
Oh,
sorry.
no, don't be sorry. It's the famous Don't Burn the Day train, guys.
Good luck.
It means it's gonna be, yeah. I mean, this show is obviously must be pretty amazing because the train came through this morning. Yeah, but I appreciate that you're talking about it because again, it goes back to acknowledging your limitations, knowing that no matter what societal pressures are out there, you know, your version of perfect is gonna have to be okay because you do have some limitations.
And I feel that facing societal to for pressures grow as we get older.
Yeah.
And the younger we are, it's like we have no responsibilities.
Okay,
But
so here's the flip side of that though. Okay, and let's look at the other side. The other side of that for me is knowing what people think or knowing what people don't expect of me. Because a lot of the time when people look at individuals with disabilities, they don't see our abilities, right? And that's what we fight so hard for every day as advocates, is to be seen and to be heard and have a seat at the table and just be, keep being strong in our beliefs and allow people to see those and let our light shine, right? That's all we preach here on the show and in life and every aspect, okay? But what happens when you yourself want to change those things, want to show people that you can be better than what they perceive you to be? And then that's your own pressure. Do you understand what I mean? Like, let's take the show for example. Do you think anybody would expect that two disabled individuals are going to have a successful podcast and kind of talk show?
um, no, I but
Let's be real about it and admit that the first couple of years it was hard for people to buy into what we were doing, and
yes,
because they didn't believe it. But now 4 years later, here we are, and we have great sponsors and we're making big changes in our community. So therefore here again, now that we are successful at what we're doing, that adds a layer of pressure to be better the next time than you were today, right?
pressure for ourselves
Right.
and pressure uh is put on because we have the sponsors that we don't want to let down.
And they're all fantastic, right? They're all great and they're all understanding and everything. However, it's not about that. It is stepping up and kind of measuring up to, again, there we go.
The
It's not just the sponsors, it's societal pressures.
yeah,
So how many of us, disability or not, have to face societal pressures every damn day?
yeah,
We all do. We all face societal pressures. And again, going back to how societal pressures affect your mental health can affect your whole existence as a person. And you have to know whether, and I'm gonna bring this full circle, and whether my point in saying all of that, or long-windedness, because I'm always the long-winded one, um, AJ knows, is to say this: it doesn't matter whether you have a disability or not. Mental health issues and societal pressures and limitations affect everyone, because whoever we are, we all have some sort of limitations and that we have to face up to, and we feel pressured to to step up, to measure up every day. If we're doing something today, well, the question is, that's great you did it today, but how much better are you going to do it tomorrow?
tomorrow.
Or, and sometimes you just have to say, whether you're in a wheelchair or whether you have a disability or not, sometimes you have to say to whoever is giving you that pressure, like, sometimes okay has to be okay. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes, and I say all the time, you know, I used to be the person who wanted my house to be pristine and all my laundry done and every speck of everything off the counters and everything smelling good and perfect and all the sheets tucked in the right way. But recently, and I still, you know, take care of my house and I still take care of my family and I'm still, you know, that person that does that. But I've had to learn through you know some therapy experiences and some recent experiences that the phrase done is better than perfect and okay is better than perfect, because as long as I do something to achieve my goals every day, as, even if I don't even if I don't cross off all the goals on my list for the day, because I am a list maker and I will go through and make a list of everything that I need to do, and I get satisfaction from crossing them off. However, if there are still goals or if there are still tasks on my list at the end of the day, as long as some of them are crossed off and some of them are done, then that's okay, and I can all there's always tomorrow, you
It's
know.
all it's all about the small victories
Yeah, I
throughout the
mean,
day.
you know, if I managed to get up and get a shower without falling and my assistant came and we went out and I ran my errands and I took care of what my kids needed to do, and you know, but I didn't get the floors mopped because I was in the midst of doing all that, or I didn't, you know, or I didn't um like achieve a goal at work that I wanted to. It's all okay because it's all relative and it's all, you know, it's all still going to be there tomorrow. That's the point, is that societal pressures will always be there. You know, our limitations will, as disabled individuals, will always be there. But, and sorry guys, Sally is kind of chiming in on the subject in the background. But,
Sally agrees.
but the fact of the matter is, you know, societal pressures will always be there. Our limitations as people with disabilities will always be there. Your limitations as a person without a disability, if you're listening and you don't have a disability, will always be there. But the question today, and we're going to answer it, is in our own way, what are those things that we have to do or that we can do to make ourselves feel better, or to kind of bring us back to center, to, you know, um, kind of let those limitations go and like clear our head for another day and kind of reset. So what are those things that you do individually? And I'm asking this to the entire like listening group or whoever's listening or watching. What are the things that you do to kind of clear your head at the end of the day and tell yourself it's okay, there's always tomorrow?
Put
Go
put
ahead.
your comments in the um
Yeah, put your responses in the comment section down below, please, because we want to hear and we want to see what everybody else is doing. You know, do you have a night routine that you do, or do you like myself? Do you like candles to kind of calm down? Do you go to bed early and get a better night's sleep? Like myself, I've been really focusing on trying to do that a lot more, because I am the person that will work up until the last hour.
yes.
And so I've been telling myself, and I've been trying to put into practice, going to bed a little bit earlier every night. And whether I'm tired or not, sometimes I just go in there and watch TV and you know, get under the covers and get cozy, and watch TV until I fall asleep, you know, or I listen to a book, or you know, I try to clear my head of the day's thoughts or all the busyness of today's, you know, or the day. Um, and that's something that really helps me. Um, or, you know, taking time to do things out of my day. Like I have specifics, and AJ, you know, we have recently set those boundaries where yes, I have a full workday, and none of it like um like I don't ever like not focus on my workday, but there are specific times of the day where I have to step away from work to take care of this one thing for me because this is
If
what I
it's
do.
an hour out of the day or
Yeah.
2 hours, you take
I
it
usually take about 30 minutes to an hour to do what specifically I need to do for other than work.
to fill your own cup.
Right. And again, it's gonna come full circle. It's gonna come back to how do you, using that phrase, we can't, you can't pour from an empty cup. So the question today is, how do you fill your cup up? What are the things you do to fill your cup? And how are you utilizing a better mindset in 2022? You know, I think we've all been affected so much by, the last 2 years that everybody's mental health has been affected, and this show specifically, you know, isn't it's not so much about setting goals anymore as it is just a basic kind of scratch the surface talk about mental health, because
And,
I'm a real advocate for a positive outlook and a good mental health. And please guys, if you haven't seen a therapist, or if you go ahead.
let me get in real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, there will be a workshop on Monday, on Monday,
A workshop on Monday. Yeah.
the uh uh disability.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. We were gonna get into that a little bit later when we talk about our sponsors, but we can jump into that if you want to. Yeah, go ahead, AJ. Talk about the Disability Rights of Vermont is having a special day, and it's Mental Health Advocacy Day, and it's a special training, and you can go and sign up on Facebook for free through the Disability Rights of Vermont. You still have time to register, I think, and it is actually going to be. It's a couple hours out of Monday. It's actually going to be held on Monday the 31st, which is next Monday.
It starts at 10:30.
Yeah, it's starting at 10:30. We're going to be a part of it. We're excited to delve more into the topic of mental health and advocacy and how that all works together. So we hope to see you guys all there. And trust me, you guys, this wasn't the topic for today, and I didn't mean to tie it all together, but it works. So hey, but yeah, again, don't forget to join us on Monday in this little in-service online. It's free to be a part of, and I still think you have time to register through the Disability Rights of Vermont. It's Mental Health Advocacy Day, and it's going to be like an hour. I think it's like an hour or so of training
Yes.
on mental health advocacy. So please come and be a part of it if you feel like it. It's a great topic to jump into. And again, it goes along with what we have talked about today, and keeping a good mental clarity about yourself, and having good mental health, and just because of all the things that we have faced over the past couple of weeks as a team, and kind of the sickness and kind of bouncing back from it, and some other things that have gone on. I just kind of felt, and a lot of times that's what happens with this show, is that we'll have a topic, and we'll
have an idea of what to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, but it goes total opposite way, and that's how the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, but I think, it's not necessarily a bad thing if
No.
if some of those things evolve into what it is.
Yes.
So, I mean, that just means that this is what needs to be talked about today, and that's fine. And again, we are huge advocates for mental health for people with disabilities and for people without. We feel like mental health is a complete inclusive thing. It doesn't, it doesn't see color or race or anything like that. It doesn't see creed. Mental health, everybody can be affected by mental health issues. Doesn't matter who you are. Um, but also remember that your mental health matters, probably more than anything. And especially for people with disabilities, it's really important, because we again, we do have physical limitations, and that's just the reality. So it's
I know. I know for myself, the way I combat my mental health is by doing something creative.
yeah,
To,
yeah, and
to
and let's just be real about it. The fact, the reason why we, yes, Don't Burn the Day was an idea that was started by AJ via podcast, but the reason why we took it to the visual level like it is on YouTube now is partly because of the pandemic. And it was because honestly we were bored and we wanted to kind of change the dynamic of what Don't Burn the Day looked like. And we wanted people to have that outlet to be able to kind of connect with us. And we wanted to connect with other people because it was affecting our mental health. So here is a perfect example of how, you know, the mental health can be affected, and I think a lot of times, people just assume that because we have because we have physical disabilities, that our mentalities are affected too, and that's not necessarily true, but they do tie in together, and
yes,
it is something that we as individuals with disabilities have to really kind of be mindful of, and kind of keep focused about, because it can get out of control. The amount of people, and this is, and I'm going to put this here as a trigger warning. Um, so if the word suicide kind of brings you a trigger, maybe skip ahead, or talking about suicide, is a trigger for you, maybe skip ahead. But I was doing some research the other day for something else I'm doing, and really came to an eye-opening uh, visual, I guess I can call it visualization, when I found
realize
out.
realization.
Yeah, realization, when I found out that, and I don't know, I guess this was never something, and I kind of feel a little bit ignorant. I'm gonna be completely transparent about that. I kind of feel a little bit ignorant around this ideal, but I'm learning about it, and I'm doing some research. But the amount of people, you guys, who have committed suicide that have disabilities, I don't even want to give you the number because it's just sad. So we as advocates have to fight for those who don't have a voice anymore because they felt like the world around them wasn't their friend. I'm saying that to just say, just just check in with the people around you. Check in with your friends who have disabilities. Check in,
Yes,
because mental health is something that is so prevalent, especially these days. And I know, whatever type of disability you have, your mental health has also been affected, whether you say it is or not.
yes,
You can keep that sense of pride and act like it's not, and it's just a physical thing, and it's all good. But all of it ties in together. All of it matters.
yes,
All of it, all of it makes you who you are. And if one thing is out of whack, then you're off your game. And, people with disabilities have to already measure up to, maybe not society, maybe some of us do exactly what I said and kind of get in their own head about it like I do sometimes and feel like you have to measure up, or some people feel like they want to because they have a disability but they can do this and they will show and they, and they want to be seen. That's a huge thing, is they want to be seen. They want to be validated. But in the process of being validated, how is that affecting your mental health?
Yeah, that is the key question, because you have to be able to take a step back and look at yourself.
Is validation the thing is, and I'm learning this about myself and through some self exploration, is the validation that you think you need worth kind of losing control of your mental health? And my answer to that, recently and all the time, is no. Your mental health and your health in general, your overall health, is so much more important than
Yes,
being seen by somebody else or being validated by somebody else. Don't let societal pressures dictate how you're going to spend the rest of your life.
'cause
And just remember, there are people out there who, like I said, don't have a voice anymore because they didn't have an outlet, or they didn't feel like they had somebody to talk to, or they didn't feel like they had somebody they can confide in. So be that person. Be that person that checks in with your people, because you never know what's going on inside somebody's head. And somebody's head can be the most imprisoning thing, because thoughts are crippling, dude. Like,
oh, oh yes,
thoughts, when you get down to, and I'm being real here because I've been there multiple times. I mean, I've made it very clear here that I'm an advocate for therapy. I I I go to therapy in every aspect of my life. I go to therapy for myself. I go to therapy to learn how to be a better mother and those break those family family pressures that I
oh,
had, or family expectations that I had, growing up. Um, I go to therapy to better my relationship with my partner, because we've had issues in the past, and that also helps, better validate our relationship and nurture that. So there are many different aspects that I see a therapist for, and
and
uh, go ahead.
with with the pandemic, therapy has gotten easier through our online
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah, and that's
And
something that's what I want to talk about too. But going back to my point, um, you know, therapy is not something that needs to be, um, like, I don't know, a derogatory thing. Um, and if you don't want to, like AJ said, if you don't want to actually go and visit a therapist and do the actual, office visit, there are places like BetterHelp.com that you can get online and talk to a licensed therapist for, little to no money, and they don't have to see your face, but you can feel validated in letting your feelings out and letting all those emotions out and things that you're feeling, and you can get better mental clarity. These people are trained in these fields, and they do this for a reason. So please,
yeah,
um, if you're feeling any kind of, um, mental health situation, or you need somebody to check into this, this is a safe space. We are a safe space here at Don't Burn the Day. And like, I'm gonna give disclaimers because I'm the queen of disclaimers here. we are not doctors. We are not mental health specialists. We just really are passionate about this topic, and we're giving you our perspectives. You can go see any type of mental health specialist that you want. We're not choosing one over the other.
Yes,
We're just saying go check in with yourself. Get
we're, we're
have
giving our perspectives.
have a good handle on your own mental health.
Yeah,
And check in with your friends. And be that person. And even sometimes when they don't even need it, or when they don't even think they need it, still be there, because like we mentioned earlier, mental health is the cause of so much suicide, and not just in society, but in our community of people with disabilities. I
yeah,
don't I don't even want to speak the number here online because it's so sad. Um, but the degree of isolation, and the way a lot of times people with disability have to deal with isolation and not being able or as free to get out in the community as as they want, can lead to um, some mental health issues that may need to be addressed, and some other things too. So just take care of you, um, and understand that you are valid. You are validated in everything you feel. We've all been there.
yes,
We
ma'am.
we may not have the same situation as you, or we may not have the same disability as you, but in some way or another, we've all been there. So you are valid. You are beautiful. Your thoughts, your feelings, your expectations for yourself. Maybe lower those a little bit, and tell yourself that okay is better than perfect.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be perfect. If you're like me, and you have a type A personality, and you're used to having that, you know, look like, I fall into the trap of wanting to feel like I have it all together, despite the limitations that I have. I want to overcome those, and look like I have it all together. But the truth is, you guys, this is real life, and none of us right now have anything all together. Okay, you can lie to yourself, you can tell yourself you do, but the fact is, you don't.
yep.
You don't. Okay, let's just get real. You don't.
And you have to be okay with that.
you know um and maybe it takes you hearing that from us, or maybe it takes you hearing that from a mental health specialist or yourself, whether you want to believe it so badly that you have everything together. This life, in this time, these societal pressures are not allowing us to get ourselves together. We, like, a lot of times we readjusted for 2 years. We went, everything was, school was online, work was online. So getting back into a normal routine is going to be so difficult. But nobody, I don't care if you have money, if you're the queen of Sheba or whatever, nobody has it together. Nobody's perfect. But if you take heed to some of the things we're doing, and learn to kind of dial into yourself, and learn when you need to care for yourself, and give yourself that time to kind of reset, and center yourself, you're going to feel better. And this whole topic is not just about people with disabilities. It runs the gamut, so it's inclusive to everyone.
Okay.
um,
And we will uh, showcase this topic periodically
yeah.
through,
um,
throughout the year.
well, I think we are running a little short on time today, so I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We hope you enjoyed the show. We're gonna thank our sponsors super quick, and then you can join us again for another great episode next week. Actually, for you it will be next week, but for us it will just be a few minutes, because we're gonna film another one after this one. But we hope you enjoyed today's in-depth look at mental health and how it affects people with disabilities, and maybe looking at your limitations and seeing what you can do to better care for yourself mentally and physically, and just allow yourself to be okay with where you are today, and be validated in that, and know that if you need to talk to someone, you have a safe space with us here at Don't Burn the Day. You can always reach out to us via our Facebook page or email. We never want someone to feel alone. We never want someone to feel scared, or we never want somebody to feel trapped. And guys, I know this is a topic that is sometimes sensitive to some people. So disclaimer again, we didn't want to offend anybody, or, we're not licensed professionals. Just, we wanted you to be able to listen to some people's perspective who have been through things. And if you have a disability, we know it can happen. And even if you don't, we know it can happen. We all get caught up in societal pressures, and it affects our mental health. And, if you know somebody that's struggling with mental health, do what you can do to help. Maybe reach out to a mental health hotline. If you know somebody who needs assistance, please let them listen or watch our show. If we can help out in any way, please contact us via the Facebook page, and
Yes, please.
we will connect you to some mental health hotlines, and
Resources.
yeah, some resources. And if you're looking for a great place to go to find a mental health counselor online, use betterhelp.com. I know that they work. I have used them. I personally have my own therapist now, but I have used them and they have helped out a lot. And please, if you think anybody might be struggling to the point of suicide, please reach out to somebody. Find some help for that person, because even though they might not feel like they need it at the moment, they're going to thank you. Because if you can be the one to help save a life, then why not do it? You guys, and with that, let me say this really quick. We are in a couple of weeks. We are going to be we're working now to put together the Valentine's Day gift guide, but in a couple of days, we're going to have a special show on Valentine's Day that will showcase one of our sponsors, and will also be a very special gift guide for Valentine's Day. So if you know somebody, or if you have special someone in your life that you want to give a gift to for Valentine's Day, please tune into the show and see what we have coming up, because I know we have we're going to showcase some great stores and some of our sponsors, but specifically, we are going to showcase fieldonlife.com and their very special bags. They're going to be back. Adrienne will be back with us, and we are so excited to have her. So you guys don't forget to tune into that one. And again, like I said, we will have a double upload today. So it will be, not today, we won't be uploading today, but we will have a double upload for next week. So it'll be this show and another show to follow. And then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled uploads. Yeah, regularly scheduled shows and uploads starting next week. So you guys, thanks for joining us today as we talked about this in-depth topic. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope it gave you some insight. We're not professionals. Please, just understand that we're just people dealing with the same shit you are. And we just want to remind you that we're all in this together. Go have a great day. Be fantastic at whatever you do. And remember,
don't burn the day.
Don't burn the day, guys. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye.